Alrighty. So now I would like to welcome our guest speaker today, Renee Reisch. Please come up. I'm going to grab this real quick.
So much, Crystal.
And I have a real quick bio. I forgot you printed it for me. Renee is here from the Orange County area.
Yes.
She has cultivated and inspired individuals and teams for over a decade. After 25 years of working in a Fortune 500 company, Renee decided it was time to hang up the corporate ladder and put on her running shoes. Born in New York and raised in New Jersey, she knew her East Coast grit would resonate with audiences seeking to improve their lives and their careers. She started her professional training and speaking at Women Helping Women, a nonprofit organization, where she currently donates her time helping the unemployed and underemployed find and keep their jobs. Renee has received numerous awards over the years for bringing her teams to the #1 position. Both her years and expertise in retail have taught her that in order to move the bar and increase profit, you must first invest in people. An advocate for community development, Renee loves speaking to business and professional leaders to find and share their voices. After suffering a devastating illness and the loss of her best friend, Renee decided to follow her example to never give up. Now, that legacy is how Renee has chosen to live her life and help others, showing them that just when they feel life is closing in on them, there is always a way out. People have commented on how they immediately feel her energy when she enters a room, and I can speak to that because you've just walked in earlier today, and I feel your positive vibes beaming, and we're happy to have you here and absorb that. So,
Well, thank you so much, Crystal. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Crystal, for that beautiful introduction and your kind words, and to the Rotary Club for having me here with you today. Greatly appreciate it. So I'm going to start off with a question. Have you ever had a friend or someone in your life who loved you and believed in you so much that even during those times when you didn't believe in yourself, that person did? Yes? See a lot of heads shaking, yes. Well, for me, that was my friend. And she wasn't just any friend. She was my best friend in the world, my soul sister. So although we shared many special moments together, it wasn't so much her legacy that she left. It was more with the memory, and that was to never give up and make sure you have people in your corner in the process. A prime example of that happened in 2013, December 2013, when I was working for a large retail corporation. I remember going into work feeling really sick, but knowing I was the only senior manager scheduled to close that night, I felt compelled to stay. So that night, I remember going to my car shivering and barely able to swallow. I went to bed, and the next morning, I woke up and I went to urgent care. And I told the doctor I felt like I had a sore in my throat as opposed to a regular sore throat. Well, my feeling was confirmed. And she said, yeah, there's one right in the middle. I said, that's exactly where I felt it. She got it. So she gave me a rapid strep test, and it was negative. So I went home, and the next morning, I woke up, I felt even worse. So my best friend came over and took me back to urgent care. My one sore had apparently given birth overnight to many. When I asked the doctor how many there were, she said, I'm not going to tell you because you're going to freak out. And she knew me. She was right. I would have freaked out. She did, however, suggest we go straight to the ER. So my best friend, on the way to the ER, suggested we stop at her house to pick up a few things. She packed extra socks, snacks, magazines, and a blanket. She made me laugh amidst my pain. I asked her if she thought we were going on a picnic or something. Like, what is she packing up here? Well, she knew how long a wait it would be in the ER, so she was right. And being a former Girl Scout, she was always prepared. So we get to the ER, and yes, we had a bit of a wait. I finally got seen by the doctor, and he tested me for several different diseases. And he told me to follow up with my doctor, and there was a bunch of blood work that was done. And it turned out I had this illness. This illness not only took me out of work for the next 3.5 months, but it robbed me of my voice, made me a prisoner in my own home, and put me in a world of isolation where I could no longer be heard. It was the beginning of a long road ahead. I kept running this low-grade fever, the days turned into weeks, the weeks into months. I would look out of my window, my bedroom window, like a hospital window, seeing the sunrise and the sunset. I couldn't be with the public. I couldn't see or talk with my family. I was completely isolated. One of the things I let people know is when you have a friend like I had, you need somebody in your corner to see you through. That's what got me through. I'm grateful to my best friend, because if it were not for her, I wouldn't have ever survived this illness. So one thing I always suggest is have somebody in your corner and have that person to help you never give up, like my best friend showed me in my world not to give up. So one of the things I like to talk about also is that stands in the way of people is fear. And that fear can stagnate them into moving forward in their life. So can anybody give me an example of a fear that somebody overcame and that they persisted through? Maybe somebody famous? Anybody? Babe Ruth.
Fear of striking out, and he struck out more than anybody.
Babe Ruth, that's true. That's a great one. Any other people? Come on, guys, the sports. Any suggestions? Any thoughts? No? Ladies, can you think of anybody who failed and became successful?
Michael Jordan is one of the most famous failures.
Michael Jordan. Very good. Thank you. Very good. So there's some others also. Those are great examples. There's Walt Disney. Walt Disney was told that he lacked imagination. You guys are going to Disneyland, I just heard you say. The happiest place on earth wouldn't have existed if he didn't persist, right? Then there's also Thomas Edison. He was told he was too stupid to learn. I think we'd all be sitting in the dark right now if he didn't keep going, right? If he gave up. Then there's Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first job as a news anchor in Baltimore. Nobody would have won any of those cars, right? You get a car, and you get a car. Nobody would have won any of that. She also went on to become a billionaire and own her own network, right? It's called OWN. So the fear of failure, it's more like failing forward, going through those failures and persisting, because that's what keeps you going. The next thing with fear and overcoming fear is finding your voice. And finding your voice is really like, what's the meaning of life? Anybody have without getting too philosophical, anybody have an answer for that?
Love.
Love. Awesome. Love is the meaning of life. Because when you love what you do and do what you love, that's where you can find that meaning. It's something that's innate, comes from the heart. So those are things that really help people overcome and persist forward and find your voice, find your passion. Find something that you love to do, and then everything else falls into place. How many people go into a job, like a thankless job, you hear them say, that they don't really like? It's a paycheck, and it's maybe a job, but is it something you really love? That's part of finding your voice too. Something that you love to do and do what you love. So there's a quote, and I want to get it right, so I'm going to put on my second pair of eyes, if you bear with me for a second. It's from Napoleon Hill. He's the author of Think and Grow Rich. Yeah, you know that one. And it says, the starting point of all achievement is desire. My desire is to help you find your way by finding your voice, the way my best friend helped me find mine. So if there's anything that you need, anything that you want in life, you've got to go for it. Don't wait for it to come to you. Make the life that you desire, because it's out there. It's out there for each and every one of you to grasp onto and to move forward with, and not to just wait for things to happen, because they don't happen unless you make them happen. When you start moving in the direction of what you love, it's amazing how many doors start opening for you. When I started looking for work, I started looking for things after I left my career. And the things I was looking for was what I used to do. Those doors were closing. Being a speaker, those doors started opening. Here I am today. I've got my voice back. I'm here with each and every one of you, standing proudly before you, here to help you find your voice and find your way, the way my best friend was able to be there with me and for me, to support me in finding mine. So I have this 6-point program, and I just went over a few of the points with you today that I offer. It's the fear, which I talked about, the fear of failure. That's a barrier to success, right? So you want to make sure you overcome that fear of failure. We all have that. All those people we talked about had that fear of failure. And then there's finding your voice, doing what you love, and loving what you do. But really digging down deep, because it's in there. We all go about our daily activities and we just do things almost rote by, automatic. But find what you do. Find what you love to do and do what you love. And then after finding your voice, it's your passions, right? Be passionate about what you love to do. So I'm here to help each and every one of you to do that. And I'm happy to speak with you afterwards in the back and exchange information and exchange stories with you and help you find your way. Thank you so much for having me here today, you guys. It's been such an honor and a pleasure to be part of the Rotary Club. And thank you, Crystal, again, for having me and Jim here with you today. Thank you. And Easy Way TV, I want to thank you for helping support me as well. I'm so grateful and honored to be part of your community as well. Thank you.
Picture with you.
Sure.
Should I put the